Hey everybody, welcome back to Success Secrets Revealed with your host, me, Ronald Couming, coming to you live from the Boston area, but our guests are from all over the globe, literally. We have people tuning in and coming in as guests from all over the world. That's what technology, one of the benefits of technology is. I wanted to give you a little history about how Success Secrets Revealed came about. I have a radio show called Internet Marketing and Business Solutions with Ronald Couming. And we have 1.7 million reach. I've been doing that show for over 4 years now, but because of COVID, they're not manning the station anymore. So they're running reruns, and those reruns, those guests were, top notch as well. Some of those guests have been on this show as well. The way the world is working right now is a little bit different than it was a year ago, right? So I had to pivot, and I wanted to bring on subject matter experts in many different fields to just come on and talk a little bit about how they became successful and some of the things that they've overcome. Then I'm going to strip out the audio. I'm going to send that to the radio station. So they're going to run that in rotation. The video is going to be pushed out all over social media. So easily over, a couple of million people will be seeing these videos in audio combined. So I'm super happy to be able to contribute. And I want to let you know, all guests that come on this show, none of them get paid. They're here as a gift. I don't get paid. No one gets paid or pays to be on this show. I don't get paid to be on this show either. My company, RCS Online Solutions, basically sponsors it. And our Online Solutions, we're a digital marketing agency. We help whatever your product or service is to get it in front of the people who need it. Because at the end of the day, if they can't find you, they can't flow you, right? So if you're not on the first page of the search engines for your product, service, or solution you provide, not your name and not your company's name, there's nobody searching for that. If they do know that, they're going to call you. They're searching for a solution to a product. They're searching for a solution and they need a product, service, or whatever. That's what they're typing in. That's what you need to come up first for. If you're not, contact me. We'll get you ranked. Most of the time, we get people ranked on the first page organically before they even pay us. So that's enough for the sponsor. And now we're going to talk about our guest today. We have a great guest for you today, and John Pyron. John grew up as a financially poor home with no example of success. In fact, he was homeless in May of 1987. And because of this intense desire to succeed and coming to the realization that your own past doesn't dictate your future, he worked with several mentors, changed his associations, and since then he's built multiple successful businesses from scratch. One of them from 0 to 1 million in 3 years during the 2008 Great Recession, which landed him on center stage of Sacramento Business Journal. From actual experience, he's helped thousands of individuals reach their full potential, and he can help you as well. And in this time and age, this is absolutely something we all need, right? So let's bring on John now. John, how are you? That's a clap track.
I am. I'm great, brother. How about yourself?
Good stuff, man. I guess you out in California with the Sacramento.
Yep.
Is that where you still are now from 1987? You stayed there?
So, yeah, no, I moved to originally from Dallas, Texas area, and moved to East Oakland, California in 1982. I mean, East Oakland, like deep East Oakland, like Avenue and East 14th Street, Gangville, East Oakland.
Yeah. I think I've heard about that in a song.
Oh my gosh. School, Havens Court Junior High, right across the street from the 65th Street gang. Felix Mitchell was running that show back then, and went to school with a bunch of his gang members. I mean, it was an interesting child, that's for sure.
But you've certainly survived that, and that might be a whole show in itself, just how to survive in that environment. But you've survived.
I need to write a book on that subject, because we're seeing all this stuff go on in the world today, and it's like what people don't understand is it's all those challenges that you have, all the things that you have survived that enable you to meet any comes your way. And I look back on that childhood and growing up in East Oakland, and well, I think light complected people in the entire school. It really, really gave me a lot of experience to adapt to cultures. Ended up getting addicted to drugs, dropped out of high school, was homeless, and then just said, I don't want to live the life like this, and cleaned myself up, got a bunch of mentors, and the rest is history. Went on to build lots of businesses and people. That's really my passion today, is helping a small business owner achieve whatever success they want.
I love it. And you definitely have a history of resilience and overcoming things, from that neighborhood homelessness, drug addiction. I mean, each one of those is a turning point, and what became that turning point that got you away from that and not joining those groups. It was probably a lot easier to join that group and become part of the crowd than it was to stay outside of it. But what was, and I love the fact that you went off for mentors, because I'm a big proponent. I agree big time with that. You don't seek counsel, you don't seek advice. You know what I mean? You seek mentors, and you seek counsel from people who have been there and done that. You don't ask your broke brother-in-law for financial advice, right? Somebody who eats 3 bags of Doritos a week, you don't ask for nutritional advice, right? So, so you find a mentor, and you did that, and you turned your life from just you were a statistic, brother. You were just waiting to get prison cell numbers. You know what I mean? And
I was either going to be dead or in prison for sure.
Yeah. So, what was the
crowd? And it was the summer when I was 12. My dad was a tow truck driver, and it's just in his years old. You're going to work. So he asked this guy that owned an auto parts store, give me a summer job, sweeping the parking lots, dusting the shelves, things like that. His name was Gary Ballard, and really my first mentor. And so as he got to know me, he knew my home and family situation. Me from age 12 until July 21st, 1987. It didn't matter. I grew up in a very poor home. Look at me. I've got a home in San Ramon. I've got a couple of auto parts stores. I've got a lot of success here, and a very poor home just like you. Doesn't have to be for you. And as long as you're willing to work hard, as long as you're willing to be honest, as long as you're willing to keep your nose, you have to live the life that your parents are living. Feeding that in my head the entire time I was growing up, and I stayed working for the guy July 21st, 1987, at 2 in the afternoon to be exact. But it was that mentorship that, it kept feeding in my brain that, no, I don't have to be like this. I do have to.
I love it. And that was like Les Brown. He talks about he had met somebody who was his Mr. Washington. He was going into a room just to deliver a message or something. The teacher told him to go to the blackboard and write something. He said, I can't. I'm not a student here. The kid started teasing him, but he basically told him that day, other people's reality of you is not your reality, and his Mr. Washington. So this gentleman, and if you know Frank Shankowitz, he talks, and he just did the movie Wishman, but he's a friend of mine too. He's a great guy, and but he talks about how after his mother left him when he was like 10, she just up and left and said, I can't afford it. And she took off and died, but he went to work with this person, and he had all the doubts. What am I going to do? Where am I going to sleep? And this other guy who helped him taught him, and it's amazing when people like that come along. And it sounds like he came along for you at the right time. And so from there, how did it go? How did you progress?
He set me down 12th afternoon in 1987 and said, hey, because my parents ended up leaving. They both moved away. Mom ran off with her boyfriend, dad with the other two sisters, and I said, no, I'm homeless and to continue to live with you guys. Gary found out that I was living on the streets and gave me a home in his house, and I go back to school, get my high school diploma, and I just couldn't get beyond the drugs. So, boyfriend, dad. What was that?
No, I'm still listening.
And so at 12:35 on July 21st, 1987, he basically set me down. He's like, hey, you're either going to get off of drugs or you're going to have your house, and I'm going to fire you from the job and I'll back that I bought for you. And so I nod, and finally about 5 o'clock, I said, you know what? Yeah. So he paid for the whole thing, paid facility. I went in there for 45 days, came out, and how can I ever repay you for this second chance? And he says, you know what? Stay clean, I'm successful, and you can repay becoming successful. And when you're in a position to help people, I want you to do the same thing I've done for you, to help as many people as you can, how you can repay me. And never forgot that. Got out of the National Guard. That was a great experience, going into the Army National Guard and going through this. And I grew up there. My first mentor in 1990, when I was right before my 21st birthday. And he wanted me, it was a network marketing business, and me to go out and talk to perfect strangers. And I just got I was working at Hewlett Packard at the time. I'm like, I'll talk to strangers, man. Yeah. And 3.5 years, he finally said, you know what, you keep arguing for your limitations, and I'm going to let you keep them. So we're done working together. And I was depressed for 2 years, and I realized if I don't sell and I don't overcome that fear, I will never build a business, ever. I will never get to the level of success that I've always wanted. I kind of humbled myself and started working with a guy named Dave Vanny, and he taught me how to sell, and I went on to build multi-million-dollar IT companies back to back because I learned that skill, and I learned that I can get to a point in business life so much quicker by working with a mentor than I ever could on my own. And so ever since then, I've always worked with a mentor. I just there's no better way of being accountant and a higher level. And that's really, if you think about Michael Jordan, greatest basketball player ever to exist, even Kobe Bryant, you name the successful person, chances are they got a mentor holding their butt accountable, because it forces them to play at a higher level.
Absolutely. And it teaches them, they can see certain things that they can't see, and it just helps them become better. But the fact that you swear by having a mentor, I love it, because you can go a lot faster. By yourself you can go, but with a team you can go a lot faster. And when you are working with somebody who's a mentor, somebody who's been there and done that, preferably in your chosen field, you're gonna get to where you want to go a lot quicker, because you're not going to make those same mistakes that he made. That was part of, like, if you look at the piece that I put up when I had the picture of all 4 of you, I put down there, a smart person learns from their own mistakes. A genius learns from other people's mistakes and doesn't make them in the first place. You know what I mean? So
it's I've had the opportunity and privilege to teach on this with Les and Ziegler when he was alive, and Robert Kiyosaki back in the day. And it's like, I learned through Gary's advice and mentors is, anytime you're around successful people, that's what you need to do. And one of my, probably the mentor that really changed, Jake Kuchi, and he kept telling me, he said, you'll be 5 years from now, as a result of the books you read, the audios and audios you listen to, and the people you associate with. And so anytime I'm not being fulfilled in life, I don't, there's something off, I immediately check those three things. and chances are I'm off track. And so it's an immediate fix to turn things around because we have that kind of power.
I love it. And that's so true. I mean, if you sit at home and you just watch like Netflix or some other nonsense all day and you're not doing anything to grow your mind, 3, 4, 5 years from now, your life's going to be the same or even worse because, but you have nobody to blame but yourself because you didn't do anything to make it better. And I love how you just said, sometimes your life goes off track and you start to feel, and, that happened to me recently. And I just remembered because every morning I would get up and I'd either listen to Les Brown or Jim Rohn or someone like that for like 10 or 15 minutes. And I stopped doing that for like 2 or 3 weeks. And I could just feel that I wasn't on my game, right? I just wasn't right. And I was allowing myself to be unfocused more during the day and stuff. So I had to go back to, what was missing, what was, if it was working here, what's the difference between here and here? And then it was just as simple as not listening to the people who I have as like, mentors. I've met Les Brown and I got pictures with them, spoke on the stage with them. I've never got to meet Jim Rohn, but I listen to him quite frequently. And one of the things you said earlier, he frequently says, it's not so much what happens to you, because what happens to you pretty much happens to everybody, right? One way or another, different street, different name, different, things, but the feelings, the emotions, the outcomes, but it's how we deal with it. Do we let them, cripple us, or, do they disable us, or do they enable us? And I think that's, the key between how, some people, you can have like 2 brothers, same exact circumstances, and one becomes, an alcoholic, drug addict and goes to prison, and the other one doesn't. But, the kid blames that his father was this, and what do you expect? And the other guy says, well, I didn't want to be like my father. You know what I mean? So it's just a matter of perception. So I love all that. Well, can you tell us a little bit? I mean, we met not too long ago, and I love the story you were telling me. I mean, I'm a big fan of Grant Cardone, and I actually met Grant via a video I saw of Elena. And so I'm a big fan of both of them. And you had something, that's how you and I really started connecting. But can you tell us a little bit about your interactions with the Cardones?
Yeah, I didn't even know who Grant was prior to December 2013, and I think it was like May of 2012. I'm sitting in a cigar shop with a buddy of mine who actually now lives in Boston on the East Coast, and I just rebuilt my company. I had a bad business partnership breakup, over $1 million a year in revenue, and lost 40% of my business in like 60 days. And so it took me 9 months to rebuild, and I learned a lot about business systems, a lot about creating a company that doesn't depend on me. And it took me about 9 months. I was burnt out. I was like, I'm done with an IT company. I don't want to do more. And Jordan, he said, well, where do I go? I go, I don't know. He goes, well, when's the last time you were really, really happy? He said, speaking on thousands of people and many people. I said, so I think because I've been successful in sales, I think I want to be a sales trainer. And I think I'm going to build my own sales training company. He's like, oh, no, I know this guy. He just started his own sales training organization. He's an ex-Tony Robbins guy. He's wildly successful, and he's got this program, and it only cost $1,000. And I said, okay. So he gave me the paperwork to sign up, and it was like, okay, 11 payments of $500 or I'll take the plan. And he goes, got the money. I mean, why not pay the $5,000? I go, because I ain't paying for this. Talking about, I go, Kiyosaki taught me a long time ago, man, don't pay for anything. Decide what you want and go out and find somebody else to pay for it. I says, if his stuff is worth anything, I'm going to pay $500, and I will never pay another dime because I'll sell those people are going to pay my monthly fee, and that's exactly what happened. So I represented this guy's brand for about a year and a half, 2 years, and it got to he was doing stuff, and I'm like, I can't go and stand in front of the stage. He taught me the Jim Rohn model. Jim Rohn has a model of speaking where you pitch, you can sell it from, and he taught it to Tony Robbins. Tony Robbins taught it to this guy. And intro, outcomes, chunk 1, chunk 2, chunk 3, call to actions, 45-minute talk. And so I had talks going on, and about 45 talks a year. And I got to the point where I'm like, I can no longer represent this guy's brand. And so I called up my buddy Grant Perry, and I said, hey, I've got another booked, but I don't have a product to sell, and I don't want to spend the $200,000-300,000 grand right now on product. And he goes, have you ever heard of Grant Cardone? I'm like, I don't know who Grant Cardone is. And so he says, yeah, get a hold of Grant. So I called up Grant's office, and I said, hey, I'm a great speaker. I have all these talks lined up, teams. I just need a product to sell, and my buddy thinks very highly of you. Do you have a program where I could pitch your product from the front of the room, and you guys give me an affiliate commission? And we really don't have any connect you with Steve Spray. So I caught on the phone with Steve Spray, and I explained to him what I wanted to do. He goes, no, we really don't have anything like that. And for 2 days, it took 2 days going with him and Jared, and they said, okay, we'll work it, create them that, we didn't even know this, but if you're willing to do it, then. And so they created an affiliate program, and I was going to get paid X amount of percentage, a certain dollar amount for selling Cardone U from the front of the room. And so took about 2 days to get the agreement drafted up and going back and forth and tweaking it a little bit. And finally I signed the agreement, became affiliate number 1, and started representing Grant. After about months of doing that, I'm like, screw this, I'm going to go out and create my own stuff. So, but they took that affiliate damn it, man, I should have got it in writing. They took that affiliate program, about $3 a year out of it. And now he's got the licensee program up. But I've been mentoring and working. I've been a part of the mentorship programs, the boot camps, pretty much everything Cardone. I love the guy, love him and his wife and his team, and that's who I currently mentor with. I knew to when everything got locked in, I'm like, I'm not anymore, not mentoring with you anymore. I'm going to focus on more that I know for a fact is going to get me through this successfully. And it's been great. My business since this thing, and we'll probably end of the year. But it's story there of how I got involved. Found out who Cardone was.
Nice. Yeah, and you are breaking up a little bit, but we're catching, most of what you're saying as well. But yeah, that's amazing. And you're still working in some capacity of being mentored by Grant right now, or have you just kind of like launched off and done your own thing?
No, I'm currently involved in their marketing mentor program.
Nice.
And so been doing that now because I discovered for me, I really wanted to master it, and he's probably one of the top marketers in the world. And so when he offered a mentorship program to work with him and his team, where do I sign? And I can attest to that mentor program. If you want to 10x your results, that is an unbelievable program. So the benefit clients, because I have clients all over the United States, I work with business owners. Everything I'm learning, I'm helping them implement in their own business. And so I'm learning, teaching, put it in my own business, turn around and mentoring 12 other people to do the same. So it takes that whole and it raises it very high, because not only am I learning, but I'm doing and exactly what I'm doing. And the results, like my clients, is more profitable this year than they were last year.
I love it.
Which is kind of huge in the environment that we're in.
Yep, that's definitely saying a lot right there. But I've gone to a few of his live events, and he also had a mentor. I've gone to his boot camp. down in Aventura, and the mentor, he had a mentor program, like 2 or 3 of them this year. I did all of them back to back. 1, it's always good to just be involved. 2, to get refreshers. 3, you're learning new things. But 4, everybody in that group is a potential JV or a joint venture partner. You need something that they're doing. They need something that you're doing. They have a friend that they might be able to refer you to. So in addition to being an amazing environment to listen and learn, it's also a great environment to potentially serve somebody else and have them become your client, or they will fill some gap in your industry, or one of your clients might need something and now you have a go-to person. So I've done 2 or 3 of them back to back, and I got Cardone.
I'll probably work with him and his team probably for the rest of my career, as long as they're around. The best mentorship stuff I've ever gone through has been with the Cardones, for sure. And I'm going to go back to the boot camp. I think is either this next one, September or October. And then I'm going to vie for speaking on that stage next year through the speaker. He only picks 100 and they'll speak on the stage.
Wow.
This year, but I try to do it again this year. We'll see.
That would be huge. Imagine getting up there in front of. Where is he going to hold it, in Vegas again, or?
I think they're going to target Vegas. They're 12,000 and 12,000 people was this year. Last year was 30 people. But either way, that stage is like, that's like the ultimate goal for me.
Big time, yep. Because now there might be 12 or 13,000 in the audience, but you got all the people buying the live stream, and almost every single one of those people in the audience is connected to another 100 people. You know what I mean? So you're getting some really good airtime. I was at the one in Miami, and it was crazy. It was 35,000.
Oh, it was.
Oh my God!
It was awesome, man. I mean, he flew in on a parachute. It was. I'm sitting there looking up. I'm like, oh my God, there he is.
Yep. And I would come in the morning. I had the VIP. I was right behind Diamond, right? And but so I would come in. It was Premier I had, and but I would come in the morning. That the hall opened up at like 8:30 or something. I would get there at like 7:30, right as the doors open, and there would already be a couple of 100 people there networking before I even got there. But that was my point, to get there and network. But even as I was coming in to the stadium, right, not from the front doors, but once you got closer to the stadium, the music was playing, and I could feel it in the floors, right, and it was just so motivational. I was starting to get chills. I mean, he put on such an amazing event, and that was Super Bowl weekend too. You know what I mean? And I think they were playing in Atlanta.
That's a good point. It was Super Bowl, and he still sold it out. I mean, and really the stream went to way beyond 35,000. And but I mean, the thing I've learned from that is anytime you yourself around success-minded people, do it, because just the association alone, and you never know who you're going to meet. I would pay. It wouldn't matter to get around the people that I need to get around. You're successful people. The more successful a person is, the more they're going to be apt to pull you towards them, not repel you away.
Yeah, and I've often found that, right? It's the wrong question. It's not how much does it cost. It's how much, will you make, or how much is it going to cost you not to do it? What's that loss of opportunity? I know my ticket was somewhere around $5,000 or something. I got a good price because I bought in so much stuff. But I do know that I went down there a couple of days early, and I attended some pre-events. And I had told, like, my company, we do websites, we do SEO, we do all that type of stuff, all online marketing. But I got there, and at those networking events, I sold 2 full packages that covered my ticket, my airplane, my hotel, my food, before the event even started. And then obviously I met more people as time went on and did more business. So no matter what, 5-10 grand, you're in a room full of people who are paying. If you go into a networking event and people aren't paying because they're getting 2 free slices of pizza and a little bottle of water, it's a different environment. When you go to an event and people are paying, especially when they're paying 2,500, 5 grand, 8 grand, 10 grand to be in that room, they're already somewhat, if not successful, and they're committed to their success. They think differently, they act differently, their habits are differently, the people they associate with are different. And, that's, if you really want to, you got to pay up, show up to blow up. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, when I coaching business, the guy that was mentoring me at the time said, give a thinking session, and then if with you, they'll hire you, and so I ran until I mentored with Steve Napolitano in 2015, and he says, no, you can give away a 10 to 15 minute phone call, but if there's no skin in the game, they're not going to do what you're telling them to do anyways. So, and he was right. I mean, everybody I gave a free session to, they didn't have any involvement or skin in it. And so we restructured that business where, I'll give you 10, 15 minutes on the phone to see if we might be a fit. And if we're a fit, then you're going to pay for a strategy session. And I make sure that strategy session, they get 10 times more value than what they paid for. And we typically end up working if it's a fit. If not, I'll refer them to one of the 350 coaches I personally mentored and trained around the world. That might be a better fit for them. But at the end of the day, I'm not going to build any business or anything without a mentor. I mean, not great. We hired a mentor, to mentor us in our marriage, because I know we won't play at a high level in our marriage without somebody holding us accountable. We'll get lazy.
I love it. Good for
that's
you.
really the key.
I love it. We got about 7-8 minutes left, and I'd love for you to, I know you have a giveaway here for people, and then maybe just talk about that and anything else you want people to know about you, your business, how you can help them, how they can contact you.
Sure. So a couple things there. So book an appointment is, if you go to my URL and 10 to 15 minutes, I'll spend 10 minutes on the phone with you. I'm going to ask you 3 things. Okay. Number one, what's your biggest goal by the end of this year? What's your biggest challenge that you're going through right now? And if you had a magic wand, ultimately, where would you want to go? And I'm going to give you some very rock solid advice on how to achieve that goal. How to solve that challenge and get a lot of clarity on where you really want to go. If you send your name, first, last name, and email at number 916-741-0596, I've got a Dropbox where I compiled a ton of content that is designed to help you succeed as a business owner. In fact, it's so well done, you won't even have to get a hold of me to implement it. It's all there for you. So if you're a small business owner and you really want to play at a higher level, maybe you're a small business owner, you're having a massive amount of success. Well, if you want to have even more success, contact me. If you're a business owner and you're frustrated and you haven't gotten to $1 million or $2 million or 10, and you're because your knowledge just ain't getting you there, get a hold of me. I'm not a coach. Okay, people confuse me with that. I don't have about your deal. I am going to help you understand, and then I'm going to give you step by step on how to get there and basically tell you what to do. And if you implement that, you're going to have success. So I have clients have been with me my average clients have been with me over 4.5 years, month to month, meaning I get to fire them and they get to fire me. And as long as we continue to get results, we stay working together. That would be what I tell people is, if they're going to hire a mentor, commit, show up, but make sure you can fire that woman or that man if they're not working for you. You should be able to get a result with a mentor, not just them taking your money. And so if you will be a mentor or coach, build a coaching business, I'm rock solid there. And so send me, like I said, your name, an email to that 916-741-0596, and I will add you to that Dropbox, send you those resources. There's a lot of resources there. If you want to hop on the phone with me for 10, 15 minutes, go to that johnpyron.com/book-appointment, and you'll have access to my calendar, and we'll talk.
I love it. I might send my stuff, John. You might be getting a thing from me. Hey, but no, I definitely, I love your mindset. I love your history. You definitely, you're the real deal. And if, people definitely need a mentor, and you're offering a whole bunch of stuff totally free, and a free call for people to determine if it's a correct fit or not, and then offering to refer them to somebody who would be a correct fit. There is zero reason that anybody who is hearing this now or in the future shouldn't reach out to you. So I hope that.
Well, and a lot of people go, okay, oh my God, I can't afford that. Well, you can't afford not to. I had a guy come to me right when the pandemic hit, 24 years old, wanting to build an IT company, because I had built 4 of them. And we get to the end, and I'm like, hey man, I charge this amount. He goes, I can't afford that. And I go, do you want to build your business or not? And he said, yeah. And I said, well, then how much can you afford? And he told me, and I said, okay, I'll take you right where you're at, but you're going to work your butt off, because ultimately you'll pay me what I want, and I'll show you how to get other people's money to pay me. Okay. But I look for heart and desire, and he had the heart and desire to work his butt off, and he's been very successful, making more money now than he's ever made. And he's only 24. I can't wait to see him at 34, 30, but
yep.
That's what I look for, is people that really want to do something. I'll help them. I'll meet them right where they're at.
Yeah, good for you, man. Even if you a payment plan or something, man. But you're right. Sometimes people see numbers and they say, I can't afford that. I had a real estate agent who I did, because, like them, what is it, Century 21 or all those real estate companies, not just them. They give you some company website, right? So, but all the SEO you do and all the stuff goes to that individual site, and then you just have an account on that site. So I told them to get a leader site, get your own site, your own URL. We'll fix the MLS feed to that. But now whenever anybody comes to that site, A, you're getting all the marketing, and B, you're getting all the leads. It's not going to somebody who in the office they're more friendly with, right? So
yeah.
Was that a lawnmower?
No, I'm sitting in my front office. Obviously, the gardener showed up. I'm not supposed to be here till noon, my time.
It's all right. I'll just be quick. But anyhow, wow. I actually moved my office because now they're doing windows in this building. So it's funny that you had stuff today too, and I had stuff too. But so what I had to do basically is I explained to him. He's like, well, I can't afford that. It was $500 a month. It was low end, right? Plus 15 for the site. And he says, I can't afford that. So I said to him, I said, what is the average house here? And he's 500. So we got it down to 400,000 X amount. So and he gets half of this. I says, if you sell one house a year, you make a $500 profit, because he would have got 8,000, right? So sometimes you really have to walk the person through. So when they say to you that they can't afford it, what do you mean? If your lifetime value of a client is 15,000 and you're paying me 3,000, you know what I mean? You need one client to turn a 60% profit. So sometimes you have to teach people and explain to them how to pay you, because it's a missed opportunity. So I love the fact that you coached him and didn't just say, well, when you can come back. You actually coached him to work with you and showed him, I'm going to show you how to pay me with other people's money. You're going to go out there, you're going to build your company, you're going to get paid, and then you're going to pay me from what you got paid from others. And to me, that's a pure win-win.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, the way I look at it is this way, is as long as the person will work exactly what I tell them to do, then I already know that they're going to create the money. And I have enough confidence in my coachee consulting ability to know if they do the work, I don't have to worry about the money. I'll show them how to create it. And there's not a lot of coaches or consultants out there that do to do that. But I know this is like I have client after client has been it's been with me for years, and it was a money issue in the beginning then, and it's like, do I care? 90 days now? No, we're still working together 6 years later because she was willing to do the work. And as long as she was willing to do that, I know the strategies I'm going to give her are going to work. I know if you have clients, if you have friends, relatives, family members, if you have a network at all, then I can show you how to take that network business. You don't have to worry about knowing how to teach you how to build a business. It's, are you willing to work? That's the deal.
I love it. John, you've been an excellent guest, man, and you're definitely the real deal from the very beginning all the way up to where you are now. I'm grateful that we met. I'm grateful that you came on and spoke, and I'm sure you and I will be interacting more in the future. And so
you bet.
Yep. And
so
all listeners and viewers now and in the future, I highly recommend that you reach out. First is access to some information, a whole ton of information is basically done for you. Do it yourself, but it's everything you need. And then you can text John himself and maybe set up a half-hour appointment to see if it's a fit to actually work with you. Am I correct on that?
Yeah, if you go to the URL, John Pyron, click on book appointment, and there's a 10 to 15 minute appointment slot on the phone. And if you want to check information, just send me a name and email address to the 916-741, and I'll drop everything to be successful. I've had that build these just with that information and never talked to them. So my goal is like, get in a place where you can be successful, as many people as you can. So the money always comes from somewhere. I'm not concerned about that.
It's about
I'm just going to what Gary's asked me to do, and that is help millions, and that's really my passion for sure.
I love it. Serving, not selling. John, you've been a great guest, man. We'll talk soon. Thanks so much.